the Zoom meeting. Mr. Bwire.
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
You can hear me. Thanks be to God, I can hear you well.
Oh.
So are you ready and we get started?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can start rolling. Dr. Badia, are you hearing us well? Mr. Bwire, can we get started, please?
Hello? Yeah, but it's raining heavily again.
Mr. Bwire, since you...
Let me hope I'm going to be audible now. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you
Hello?
well. You are audible. You are loud and clear.
Okay.
I'm saying you are loud and clear here.
Okay.
So you get started.
Hello? Oh. Hello?
Yes, I can hear you well.
Can you hear me?
Hello?
Okay, happy.
I can hear very well.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Hello?
Yes, Mr. Bwire, we can hear you well. I'm saying you get started. Hello, we can hear you well.
Hello, yes.
You are loud and clear. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Can you get going now, right away?
Okay, yeah, my topic is winning elections. Winning elections, the national resistance movement way. The case of 2026 elections. So I'll begin by giving a small comment about the title. The title itself suggests that at least there's something that is peculiar with the national movement that has been winning elections from the time we started elections in this country in 1996 up to the present. So my presentation is structured. So I have the introduction. After the introduction, I'll talk about the theoretical and the contextual issues, then the methodology, and then from there, I will go to the real issues that I want to bring out in my discussion or when I write the final paper. So the National Resistance Movement, as we know, all the NRM has been winning elections since Uganda turned to elective politics in 1996, first of all under the movement system, and when we went multi-party in 2006. And the NRM has won all these elections, 2001, 2006, 2012, and who knows in 2026. But as things are right now, you don't need to beat about the bush. At least we know who is going to win these elections. Though some students of elections and democratization, they have said that the best election is one where you go for elections when you don't know who is going to be the winner. At least there is that doubt. So the question we have to ask, has it been winning? Are they free and fair elections? Or there's a formula that they employ for winning these elections? So those are some of the issues that we want to explore. So theoretically, I'm employing Nicholas Chisman and Brian Kilas. So these authors, so they present both overt and covert methods of winning elections in mainly countries which are democratizing. And these elections is not just winning, but indirectly they're talking of rigging elections. And by this one we mean winning elections unfairly or creating conditions which do not give equal opportunities to all contestants in the election period. So elections in Uganda has taken, since the NRM started elective politics in 1996, has taken various ways. They have come in the form of gerrymandering, political exclusion, and even funding clientelism and some other methods like a ballot stuffing and even open violence against their opponents especially. So we have seen situations in the previous elections where in a constituency of say 500, one individual might even get 700 votes and nothing happens. So methodologically, now in this research, I intend to take a longitudinal research design that involves repeated observation of the same variables over long periods, and in this case, from 1996 to the present. So the methods I'm going to employ, one, it's going to be documentation, and this one I will get information from newspapers, or newspaper reports, journal articles, research reports on elections about Uganda, and textbooks on this subject. So I've already interviewed and also intended to interview more stakeholders as far as this topic is concerned. So we have said that there are essentially two methods. One is covert and another one is overt. So, but we are going to concern ourselves essentially with the covert methods the NRM has been using to rig elections. So the first one I've called it the rebelization of the post-election period. So we see that after every election since 1996, every region which overwhelmingly votes against the system, a rebel group springs up in that region, and after a few people have been eliminated, then the rebel group dies a natural death. The first one we see it in 1996. The what? Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying the first one we see it in 1996. Yeah, in the Acholi region. The Acholi region overwhelmingly voted against the system. Now with them good enough around that time, they had the infrastructure. Konyi was still in operation. But we see immediately after election, Konyi intensifying attacks on civilians, cutting off people's lips, abducting more people, and so on. In 2001, the Lango region overwhelmingly voted against the system. And immediately after, we started seeing what they called the camp rebels, the Citizens' Army for Multi-Party Politics. And after a few people had been eliminated, then the rebel group died a natural death. In 2006, so there we see the National Redemption Army, or the PRA, under the National Redemption Movement, which had people like Chakabale, is it Chakabale and then others. So in 2011, we see disturbances in Kasese immediately after elections. In 2016, so we see many urban disturbances in Kampala, in places like Mbale, and many youth who were very much against the system getting arrested. In 2021, the Buganda region overwhelmingly voted against the system. And in Buganda, this one was the most interesting. So we see another form of instability springing up, especially in Masaka, what they call the Bijambia. These are people who would move in the night, chop off people's necks, and then disappear. But this one is happening at the time when we had a curfew. The only people who were supposed to move during that time were maybe soldiers and the police officers. So in 2026, there's a question mark. What is going to happen? So I believe all these issues, all these happenings have a bearing on the next elections. So the other covert method I can talk about is gerrymandering. So gerrymandering in this case involves manipulating the design of institutions governing elections to the advantage of one or more electoral contestants in the violation of principles of inclusivity, impartiality, openness, and transparency. So for the case of Uganda, when we are nearing elections, we see the creation of more districts, now cities, electoral constituencies, and all these things happen towards elections or during the electoral period. Like now, we have had, or we are seeing that talking of creating 3 more districts in a small place like Tororo. Tororo used to be a county during those days. But now, as things stand, we might see 3 districts coming out of a geographical area, which used to be a county during that time. So the other method has been weakening the opposition. And opposition has been weakened through inducements. And the first inducement I can talk about is what one politician called dirty money. And dirty money, this is money or inducement given to opposition members, either to abandon their political parties and cross the NRM, or remain in the NRM, remain in their political parties, but they do work for the NRM, they remain loyal to the NRM. So we have also seen the buying of the electorate, and we're using money and other inducements. So this one, hello? Hello?
Yes, we go ahead, Carol. We are
okay,
listening.
yes.
We can hear you well.
Yeah.
Continue.
Okay. Yes, we have seen the buying of the electorates using money and other inducements. So there's also open harassment of some opposition figures through hooked up charges. I've seen kidnaps of opposition figures, and we have seen where some opposition figures have been arrested without following proper procedures.
Go on.
Hello?
We hear you well. Please go on. Are you having any hitches over there?
Okay, so the other method has been campaign regulations that lead to inequalities of the contestants. So first of all, we have seen the denial of campaign platforms to opposition figures. They cannot access some campaign platforms. They are denied access to the radio. They cannot get space in newspapers. Include to those newspapers, not only those ones owned by government, but also those ones that belong to private individuals. So those ones who insist, or the radio owners, newspaper owners, who carry opposition message, they suffer the consequences. So we have seen the campaign time for opposition members being limited, determined by the Electoral Commission, and strictly forced by the police and the military, even outside the agreed framework. So there's also a lot of disinformation and misinformation about the opposition figures. So we have had information like they get money from homosexuals, they get money from colonialists, they get money from so many undisqualified, figures which are, they get money from sources which can be harmful to the security of the country. So the other way the opposition, the NRM has been winning is by using the power of the incumbents, using what I can call populist programs. This case, we have programs like the PDM, where they're giving people money for business and bettering their lives. So we also have the direct method, so the overt methods of election rigging. And this one includes open violence against opposition figures. So the use of the military and the police to arrest and detain opposition figures. And in some cases, there have been reports of ballot stuffing and even denying electoral observers access to the electoral, access to... Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, please. I can hear you well.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well. Go ahead.
Okay. They have been denying electoral observers access to the electoral process. So in conclusion, therefore, I'm saying that the NRM has been using all these factors to disadvantage the opposition, and therefore it has been very easy for them to sail through. Thank you very much.
Thanks for the wonderful presentation, Mr. Bwire. Can we have comments, please? Comments, questions about his presentation, on aspects of his presentation. It may be methodology, it may be the way he's going towards the theory he's planning to use, and the emerging findings he's trying to put forward. Dr. Badia.
Hello?
Can we have comments, questions and comments from your side?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you well now this time.
You are hearing me?
Yes. You are loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lumumba, for that presentation. I would wish that you could add some of the other structural factors, like what is the role of foreign forces and foreign interests in our elections, which may advantage the government, or could actually advantage the opposition or disadvantage them, given the fact that our economy is basically run by foreign interests and foreign forces. What is their role? That's as a contextual issue. Secondly, I think it would also be important in terms of context to say, or to compare the level of contestation with maybe neighboring countries, for instance, Kenya, where it is not always obvious that there is any group that is advantaged in advance, because the level of contestation for various reasons is more or less even. But where the state infrastructure and other forces are so skewed against the opposition, what does that mean in advance? And conversely, could we say that actually, if there was a little bit of more space, actually at the moment the opposition has an opportunity to actually overwhelm or substantially have an inroad into the the power base and advantages of the NRM and the incumbent president, because what happened in 2021 almost shocked everybody. But this was because there was a possibility, in spite of COVID, to actually have some serious inroads. So isn't there a possibility that in spite of all those advantages, covert and overt methods, that actually the opposition has a chance, if it could be better organized? They may not win, but they could bring us to a situation where we are at the level of contestation comparable to Kenya. Those are just a few of my comments as of now.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those are very important comments to consider to by later. Can we have the next person? Habib, Esther Tuwende, Evelyn. Any other comments or questions to the author? Hello, am I being heard? Mr. Bwire, can you hear me well?
Yes,
yeah, I hope you are taking notes. Now,
Yes,
my
I'm taking notes.
observations, yes, my observation about your presentation are that you talk about covert methods. There are issues to do with imagine the rebel, propped up rebel groups, gerrymandering, gerrymandering and then coming up with these cities, creation of districts. Then these are two contested issues, but my concern is how are you going to get concrete evidence to support these arguments? You know there is a claim that the demand for the districts is by the people of that place, area. Then rebel groups, do you have any other way beyond what is reported in the place, or any evidence that you can rely on to support your argument that rebel groups might during elections so as to disadvantage the opposition? Even gerrymandering, it looks simple to say, but extremely hard in terms of getting or holding on, picking on the hard evidence to support your arguments. So I would advise you critically look at it and see whether you would get critical evidence to do that. Then, of course, the Electoral Commission seems, the Electoral Commission is the referee and seems helpless in terms of what they can do with the gerrymandering and the buying off the opposition. What are you going to do to make sure that maybe the Electoral Commission could be called to order to look into these things? Because elections is a process. You are looking at the process issues in terms of how elections are rigged or how the opposition is disadvantaged when it comes to elections. How can the Electoral Commission be empowered to look into these issues? Yet there are accusations also that there are accusations that the Electoral Commission itself has been compromised. So it's like catch-22. How are you going to make sure that the Electoral Commission itself can look in these things as they work towards organizing elections, and where can they get the power and the strength to do that, to ensure there is no gerrymandering, to ensure that the opposition is not bought, to ensure that no rebel groups pop up to disadvantage the contestants in an electoral process? Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Harini Torujendo, have you attended the presentation a bit of the?
Thank you. Yes, I'm now online, but I'm trying to get off.
Did you listen to Mr. Bwire's? Did you?
No, I haven't.
Listen to Bwire's? You haven't?
Pardon?
Did you manage to listen to Bwire's presentation, at least part of it?
No, I didn't, because I was in an area without any internet. I've just gotten it. I'm trying to get out of the noisy background. Can I have just like 1 second?
Yes, it's okay. Let's see, try another person. Let's start 20.
But I'm ready. I'm ready.
So when you are ready,
Just a
you alert
moment.
me.
Just a moment. Let me get out of the noise.
Yeah, once you are ready, just alert me. Then we start. Let's start 20. Kizito William.
Yes, this is
Let's
Esther.
start.
I
Yes,
joined in
welcome.
late. I would request that
Yeah.
I stay on the listening live. Thank you.
Welcome. So let's see. I think, Mr. Bwire, I hope you've taken note of the comments.
Yeah.
Can you give us a brief feedback about the
Okay.
comments, questions,
Okay.
as we wait for
Thank you
people
very
to get
much.
here?
Thank you very much. And I wanted to thank specifically Professor Bwire. Yeah, you are going to enrich my paper. At least the role of foreigners, that one had skipped my mind. I had not thought of it, but I'm going to include that one. So you raised the three issues, that one, the role of foreigners, the level of contestation, if we can compare with the other countries like Kenya and maybe others, and also, if I can examine the state of opposition, because the way you see, at least they have a leverage. So how can they coalesce the forces to counter maybe the rigging or even go the extent of winning the movement at this time? So I've said that the first one I'm going to include it, that is the role of foreigners. And these are different countries that are interested in our elections. But now when it comes to the level of contestation, and we are comparing with a country like Kenya, that one becomes a little bit different. So Kenya has a different history. In Uganda, the state and the ruling party, they are fused. You cannot tell the difference between the military and the ruling party in Uganda today, which is not the case with Kenya. So in Uganda, if you offend the political party, you have offended the military. Because we have seen even military officials with the political parties which are aligned to the NRM or to the ruling party. So that one becomes difficult. Maybe if you are looking at the differences. But if it is the similarities, that one becomes a little bit different. So on the other hand, the opposition space, despite the fact that it's open, space for the opposition is very limited in different ways. Like I have said, that money. But that money has permanently divided the opposition. That's why you see many heads of political parties seriously campaigning for the ruling party. We have seen DP, we have seen UPC. I'm told even Jema has joined them. There are just a few political parties which are outside. So that division, because of resources, makes it difficult for the opposition to come together and then counter the national resistance movement. So the other point was about the emergency of the rebel groups. So this one is
evidence to support to link that one to elections. Where are you going to get concrete evidence to support your argument?
Okay, it's from observation. Because I've seen every region which votes against the system. We begin in 1996. We see it in Acholi. We see Kony was already there. And this is when Kony energized. He started cutting off people's lips, more abductions, and so on. So in 2001, it goes to Lango. From nowhere, we hear about camp rebels, citizens' army for multi-party politics. Okay, so they come immediately after elections. And we have this information in the newspaper reports around that time. Yeah, the same applies to Kasese. When the Kasese people voted against the movement, and more so what happened in Uganda last time, we see the cutting off people's necks was being done at night when there was a curfew. Yeah, the people who were only allowed to move at that time were security officers. So where were the security officers when these people were moving up and down, cutting of people's necks? So that is my argument. And I can see in the newspaper reports. So, and the same also applies. Hello?
My biggest fear is newspaper reports may not stand as complete sources of evidence. That is the fear I have. And I think everyone will tell you that. So you have maybe to look for observation itself as a tool. What you are saying, you observe because it happens during that time, can be disregarded because it's something like coincidental. So I don't know how best you can really dig out evidence to link such things to elections. I'm just trying to alert you to avoid a situation where someone is trashing your work will not necessarily be true, but you have to bring out evidence that does what? Direct links it, the source you have should be valid enough for people to agree with you that they are actually linked. That's my advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that one I take it, and I'll try to dig deeper.
Yeah.
So the other, hello?
Go on, please.
Okay, yeah. The other question was about the level of gerrymandering, and your argument was that maybe it was reorganization of the country.
Claims that it is the people who demand. So the government of the day is responding to the demands of the people. You get it? It's also all the questions I raised about how you can get reliable, credible, and valid evidence that is acceptable, right? That people can easily prove, and truly these issues are happening. They are linked to electoral processes. Yeah, that's just what I wanted to advise you.
Yeah, okay, but okay. So my argument that actually creating a district, that one can be a policy issue. At least you must have guidelines. Why should we have a district? Okay, if there are people who are demanding, people demand for so many things. They demand for schools, they demand for roads. Now, why can't you give them a road instead of a district? That's my argument. Okay, but now if you have created a district, you are going to get the infrastructure to get more people. You are going to have a woman representative. You are going to have other whatever, because you have brought them a district, and then people will be thankful. In the process, they vote for you.
Okay, all right, thanks.
That's my argument.
And thank you very much. Any other comments, Dr. Badia? Do you have any other comment or question?
Yes. First of all, thank you for the comments, because it will help Mr. Bwire to improve. But I just wanted to rejoin on one issue on the opposition, that the opposition is disadvantaged. I am aware of that, but the point I was making was that instead of taking it for granted that they are disadvantaged because of the things we know, the question should be, what is available, what can they do to actually make better inroads? Because they have done so before, and they did even better in 2021. So I'm saying that in spite of all the obstacles and the divisions within the opposition, and we know the causes of those divisions, but there are also elements of the opposition that would be taken to be more progressive. They have their own internal challenges, but is there a space which they can use? Because in politics, you don't wait for freedom to be given to you, you fight for it. That's all I'm adding.
Thank you for the addition. Habib, do you have any observation you have to make or about Mr. Mire's presentation? One. Arinit, are you on? Are you ready?
Yes, doctor, I'm ready. I'm in a safer place now.
Okay, thank you very much and welcome on board.
And apologies. So should I share my screen?
Yes, so we want you to start rolling. You are starting at 4 p.m. and your presentation takes 15 minutes, so it should be done by 4:15 p.m.
I will be very, very fast.
Move at your pace as long as you.
Oh, okay.
All we are interested in is to.
Thank you very much. I'd like to know whether you can see my screen.
David Bagandi is my name. I'm the host at CBR.
Oh, thank you, David.
And I'm not a doctor.
Okay. But you sound like a Dr. Seya Shiryanga because this voice was almost the same.
Oh, it's fine. No problem.
Thank you, sir. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, thank you very much, comrades. I am, first of all, I want to first apologize because I've been traveling. I'm up and down, and I was looking for an area where I can get very stable internet, and I finally got it. And I was supposed to present first, but I am quite sorry, very, very sorry. And I told Jordan about this, about my challenge.
You are on time. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I am in this project. I would like to investigate digital media, since I'm a journalist and from the Department of Journalism at Makerere. I'd like to investigate digital media and the shaping of the 2026 Ugandan presidential elections. And I am looking at something called digitocracy, which I will explain in this proposed project, and to see how it is, how the opportunity of this election is shaping a form of governance, a form of citizen engagement in Uganda that we call digitocracy. I slightly changed the title because of the changing circumstances. This is not what I fully submitted a few months back. And I would like to read this abstract just to really get the picture straight. As Uganda prepares for its 7th presidential elections under the 1995 Constitution in 2026, digital media particularly, it constitutes smartphones, social media platforms, and electronic newspapers we know as e-papers, are reshaping the political landscape. My proposed paper is investigating the emergence of a digitocracy in Uganda, and this is a system where digital platforms increasingly mediate political contestation, campaign visibility, and citizen engagement. And while global scholarship has explored digital media's role in elections, Uganda's context remains under-examined, especially regarding the transformative potential of smartphone-enabled platforms and e-papers on phenomena such as the presidential campaigns. My study is going to be framed around the social shaping of technology theory, which posits that technologies are socially constructed and embedded within political and cultural contexts. Guided by an interpretivist philosophy, my study is proposing to adopt a qualitative methodology, which will combine key informant interviews and ethnography. Interviews will engage journalists, political actors, digital activists, and everyone in that space to capture lived experiences and strategic uses of digital media. Ethnography, on the other hand, will analyze online discourse and mobilization across different platforms such as X, which is formerly Twitter, TikTok, and WhatsApp. And a critical focus for my study is that tension between state control and digital freedoms, which is exemplified by internet shutdowns and the ongoing Facebook ban since 2021. And despite these constraints, smartphone-enabled platforms remain vital tools for accessing and shaping political narratives during the 2026 presidential elections. Therefore, my paper hopes to contribute to the understanding of how digital media platforms are redefining electoral democracy in Uganda, offering insights into an emergent dictocratic resilience, democratic renewal, press freedoms, and informed participation. And ultimately, my study will seek to illuminate the opportunities and challenges of a dictocratic environment in Uganda's evolving democracy. So my background to this study is looking at situations at the global level, at the regional level, which is the African continent, the sub-regional level, which is the East African region, and then Uganda. And globally, I am observing that digital platforms have become central to political discourse, like I've already said, and they are transforming narratives. For example, in the US, platforms like Twitter, which is now called X, and YouTube, are used to influence public opinion and campaign visibility. And research shows that in places like Brazil, Jair Bolsonaro used WhatsApp and Facebook to bypass mainstream media and mobilize support. In India, the BJP party deployed WhatsApp groups and targeted Facebook ads to micro-segment voters, for example. And then in authoritarian regimes like Iran, Myanmar, and other places, digital platforms have served both as tools for mobilization and targets of censorship. When it comes to the African region, we see digital media as an empowering tool for civic engagement and also empowering resistance. In Nigeria, for example, the hashtag #EndSARS movement was able to gain global traction because of social media, for example. In Sudan, where you remember the protests in 2019, they were all amplified and organized around digital media. And then we also see that despite this promise of digital media coalescing and constellating contestations, again, and of course producing digital activism, this activism continues to propagate itself amidst state repression and evidence through shutdowns, as well as constraining of digital platforms. That's the sort of environment, especially on the African continent. Even in East Africa, the Kenyan 2017 elections, we saw a widespread use of social media and WhatsApp and stuff like that. We remember the Gen Z-led protests in 2023, which were amplified through the different platforms. And that showcased some sort of a dictocracy at work in how it demonstrated political activism, in how it drove political mobilization, in how it was shaping public discourse, and also as a tool to challenge authoritarianism.
Hello?
At the same time, uses them again to restrict dissenting voices online, according to Freedom House. Yes. I'm using my phone, but somebody was calling me, and then can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Now.
Thank you. Yes. Somebody interfered with the phone. It's okay. Now, when it comes to Uganda, where this study is situated, you know, we see a digital landscape that is mired by a complex web of innovation and repression. So much innovation, digital innovation going on, but also repression at the same time. And then KISA 2019 says, previously considered a reforming and promising African country, both economically and politically, Uganda has in recent years suffered a substantial shrinkage of democratic space. For example, we have cases of 2016 and 2021 elections where digital shutdowns were the order of the day, which was a key indicator of a chilling effect on democratic expression through digital media. And of course, despite this, these platforms and even online newspapers still remain like some sort of available vital tool for political messaging and citizen journalism. Even where we have a youth-heavy population, 78%, that is increasingly agitating and contesting and engaging online, you know, we see an emergent favorable mobile-first political engagement in Uganda. And for me, when you see the shift from traditional methods of campaigning to memes are, I think, you know, some of these, you know, memes that we normally use when we want to express ourselves emotionally on social media, you know, even viral in content, you know, some content that gets viral, for example, like say, expose the corrupt, one of them that is viraling these days. And then we see also influencer-driven narratives. For me, these are signals of a move by this country towards a resilient dictocracy. And then you see Uganda's digital spaces becoming now central to the political debate, especially in this election as it has started just a few weeks back. We see a lot of civic mobilization via social media and via digital media. But at the same time, we see state scrutiny ahead of these 2026 elections. So therefore, the growing pressure and digital surveillance, framing digital expression as a contested front in Uganda's electoral politics, is an indicator of an emergent dictocratic space and demonstrates how digital media intersects with electoral governance. These views are also expressed in Rwengabo and Sewa Chiryanga in 2024. So I propose to conceptualize this dictocracy using Redenberg 2017, sorry, a dictocracy refers to a system where digital technologies, especially social media, smartphones, and algorithmic platforms, play a central role in shaping political processes, political discourse, and citizen engagement. He further argues that it presents a new set of more complex governance mechanisms, assuring public accountability for online power held by state and non-state actors. But he observes, again, and so many others, that this dictocracy is distinct from digital democracy. There is digital democracy, but there is also dictocracy. Digital democracy emphasizes citizen participation through, say, digital platforms and other ICT forms. But dictocracy is instead focusing on the infrastructures and actors, for example, algorithms, platforms, influencers, engaged in a process of reshaping political authority and visibility. And so characteristics, for example, platform dominance, you have so many platforms that we probably are aware of. Also algorithmic visibility. This is where, you know, AI algorithms, you know, are able to crowd different activity and then viral it and make contestations more visible. Then we see a lot of network mobilization. Citizens organizing around protests, citizens organizing around campaigning, and vice versa. State also throwing back at them, you know, through digital networks and physical spaces. Then, of course, we see state platform contestation. For example, there's a contestation between a state authority and these platforms. For example, internet shutdowns, usually around elections. The past 2 elections are a case in point. A lot of monitoring of online activity, and which all are reflective of a contestation between state control and digital freedoms. So I proceed to propose the following research objectives. The first one is to explore how smartphone-enabled media, digital media, influences political discourse and mobilization in Uganda. Then the second objective will be to analyze the role of digital platforms or digital media in shaping electoral participation and press freedom. And the third objective will be to investigate the emergence of a dictocracy as a new mode of political engagement and governance in Uganda. And that leads me to the problem we are addressing. I'm saying that despite this growing role of digital media platforms, innovations, and its impact on its facilitation of political engagement, its impact on electoral democracy in Uganda remains largely unexplored. And we see that the state's ambivalence by way of embracing digital tools while also restricting digital platforms has created that contestation in the digital space, especially every election cycle. So there is a need to understand this form of citizen governance, this citizen engagement, this state citizen contestation beyond traditional media and into the virtual space or the digital space, and to interrogate whether there is a digitocracy emerging, and especially in the context of the ongoing 2026 presidential elections. So therefore, the central inquiry is whether digital media is simply a tool or a transformative force in Uganda's political landscape. And there's justification. Why? Because the study, this kind of study is justified because there is a need to illuminate this rise of digitocracy in African electoral contexts. We must illuminate it. And then it would offer empirical insights from Uganda, from a global south context like Uganda, and how its political digital space is shaping up. Then a study of this nature is justified because it would inform policy on media freedom, on digital rights, and democratic participation. And I would want to say that the study is won't be just a description of activity or political activity in the current democratic or political dispensation, but it would seek to shape future discourse and policy around digital democracy. And in the literature I intend to review, or part of that literature that I have reviewed, which is also seen in my problematization section, I see prior previous studies highlighting digital campaigns rise, but they are lacking depth on the Ugandan context. I had talked about the theory that will inform this, but why this theory? Because this theory in media studies is the intersection between the human-centered digitization and then the deterministic role of technology. So that intersection really informs the current contestation over between state and citizens over digital platforms. Digital platforms which are technological in nature and sometimes technologically deterministic. But that contestation between citizens and the political actors it forms a sort of contestation that is a co-creation, which is illuminated by this theory. A co-creation, that technology is a co-creative process. And therefore, it would allow us to move beyond techno-determinism and explore how techno-determinism of digital media, and explore how the Ugandan society in the political space is molded or is molding digital media. In terms of methodology, this study will be philosophically oriented in interpretivism, because it doesn't intend to just measure clicks and virality of the digital platforms, but to interpret narratives that are exhibited, that are manifested through those platforms in an interpretive way. And we shall use a qualitative approach, and our methods will be key informant interviews, in order to capture the strategic use and perceptions of digital media, and also nethnography. Nethnography is a qualitative research method that studies online behavior and online communities and online cultures. It is basically ethnography, but in the virtual space. Instead of going and sitting in a village or following a Museveni or a Bwire campaign to understand how digital media is being used, no, I would sit on the digital space where this contestation is happening to really analyze those online communities that have formed in the digital space that are engaging in a contestation with state actors and vice versa in what is suspected to be a resilient dictocratic space. So ethnography will help to track that discourse, to track mobilization, to track interactions in real time, to track emotions, to track different things, and to be able to tell if there is an emergent dictocratic space, and how is it shaping in the context of the Ugandan political landscape. That analysis will analyze interpretively, definitely focusing on meaning-making, patterns and narratives that emerge from both interviews and these online interactions. And for example, for data from key informant interviews, we'll use thematic analysis as espoused in Brown and Clark 2006, 2006, sorry. And these interview transcripts will be coded inductively because, after all, we are using interpretivism to identify recurring themes such as censorship, such as mobilization, such as digital strategy. These are just, assumed themes, but the data will definitely give us the right themes when we hit the ground running. And then we will apply the qualitative software known in vivo, or sometimes or see which one of these two might apply in vivo or Atlas T. But the most important thing is to see how to manage those codes and build themes around them. And these themes will definitely be interpreted within the context of the social shaping of technology theory, which espouses co-creation, which will help us understand how socio-political contexts influence digital media use and vice versa. When it comes to ethnography, I intend to use discourse analysis to see, to look at now the language, the framing, the narratives, the emotions, the comments, and then of course use usage of contextual coding, because there contextual coding will help to interpret hashtags, memes. Why did somebody use a certain hashtag? Why is somebody using a certain key meme, a certain meme? Today I saw a cartoon by Dr. Spire, mocking the calm before the storm in this election, showing how actually the security forces are actually bored about the current election. So all these have meanings. Contextual coding can decode them, so that then we place in that context we can trace patterns of political engagement. Then of course, ethical filtering, it will help to remove some private and sensitive content, and then findings will be triangulated with the interview data to enrich the interpretation and also to see how to validate emerging insights. Ethical considerations, especially when it comes to ethnography, ethical issues are very critical, because then you are immersing yourself in the digital space, trying to understand what is happening. But we'll seek informed consent, of qualitative value. Confidentiality for interviews will be sought. Anonymity of this online data will be exercised with full carefulness. And then of course, exercising sensitivity to political risks and digital surveillance of the conversations going on, and also of data collection for this study. And then, of course, I hope to seek institutional ethical clearance from CBR or maybe the other established mechanisms in the country, like REC Makere Research Ethics Committee. There's also many other instruments.
In other ways, yeah.
So some of the references I am still trying to read and really play around with. And thank you very much for listening to me. And
thank you very much.
Whether I am on the right track. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Mr. Rugendo, for that wonderful presentation. It's just that you kind of, yes, please.
Yes, I think I've lost you there.
I can hear you now. I'm
yes,
saying
I can hear you.
For the wonderful presentation. It's just a new kind of conceptual kind of framing in related to elections, and people have not been taking care of such kind of things. So let me request the members present to ask questions or comments, and then you give feedback later on. So stay tuned. Dr. Badia, any comments, questions for Adnito Rugendo?
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yes, now, thank you very much, Mr. Neitwe. This is something new and should be very interesting. But I wish you could, it looks to be too big to be managed in such a short time by one person. That's one. And two, I think you need a base in terms of actual statistics about, for instance, how many people in Uganda own a smartphone. Do we have that information?
Yeah, yes, we have.
And in terms of, sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying yes, we have. We have those statistics.
Yes. Then, in terms of usage, the age brackets matter, especially between, let's say, 15 years and 70 years. It would be good for you to delineate the level of usage in terms of age, but also maybe in terms of social status, insofar as it can be obtained, because I am sure that there's a certain body of young people or not so young people who are interested in politics and political affairs and elections in particular, and who would be most likely be able to influence others. So I think it would be useful to have that information as a starting point, and therefore, when you are analyzing, we know whom are you analyzing in terms of their social interests, class interests, and the rest. But much more problematic for me is that there are so many social media platforms. How are you going to analyze? How are you going to choose, and how are you going to analyze all this overwhelming information? Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Any other person comment or question? Give a question to Adnito. Hello? Any other Kizito, Esther? Yes, Dr. Badia. Any more? Esther, to end any question or comment to?
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you, presenter, for the work. I'm so happy that this has been catered for. When I was presenting my presentation the other week, one of the members had suggested that I change the topic, and he had suggested actually about the digitization and politics. So I'm happy that it has been catered for, and I am going to remain to my point of interest. I'm just happy for the presentation because I'd already started on it, and I'm just you're sharing what I'd already started on it, but I'm happy that it has been catered for. I'm going to remain in my own point of interest. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Any comment or question about his presentation? Let's start Wendy. Okay, Mr. Linitwe, me,
Yes,
my
sir.
question, my observation is
Yes.
that you also need to look at levels of civic competence, how levels of civic competence in Uganda interact with the aristocracy to influence political processes. So I'm trying to look at by reach and engagement. Dr. Badia has hinted on issues to do with age groups and like, but me, my focus is the civic competence of the population and its interaction with the aristocracy to influence political processes during electoral seasons or democratic processes, whatever they may be. So you pay keen attention to the reach and engagement, much as those who reaches and who engages, given the levels of civic competence of the population. Then I don't know that you get that information with the level of civic competence. Is it
Yes, I do.
Yes, it would be of interest. One of the areas of interest to preview when you are doing your study on this digital person.
Yes, I get it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any
Yeah,
more
can I respond a bit?
observations, questions?
Oh, all right.
Yes, please.
I beg your pardon.
Again,
Oh, okay. I want to thank my mentor, Dr. Bwire, for whipping this for me to narrow it. I've just submitted my doctoral thesis, so I am still a student and learning. So I agree with Dr. Bwire on the narrowing, and I think I totally agree with you. I need to narrow it down. I'm still a bit broad. I need to narrow it down to specificities, because the political landscape is wide and its consequences are wide. This is taken note. When I go to number 3, where you talk about the social media platforms being many and how are you going to sample? Yes, you have questioned my methodology. Thank you very much. So I am going back to sampling, which I didn't mention, and basically because most of these platforms actually, each of them actually commands about close to 1 million plus. Facebook is about 3-4 million. TikTok is also around there towards like 5 million Ugandans on it. So that means even narrowing it down to just one specific social media platform is good enough to give us a picture of an emergent or resilient dictocracy. So I really thank you very much, Doctor. I am just going to go back to that, to the methodology, and realign my sampling strategy. Thank you, my sister Tuende. Yes, I don't think you should abandon your line, because as you have seen, when it comes to narrowing, I might take to the X route, and young people, you might take the other route. So there is still space for you, in my view.
Then, maybe you could liaise with Handy and
we co-write
share what you have. Yes, what you have shared off and what we can take on and what she should take.
Yes, I will. Yes, I will. If she can share my email. My email is Rugendo. Let me just put it there. Rugendo@gmail.com. Yes, that's my email address. my sister. So David, yes, from what you say, I see the need to problematize
Yes.
digital competence
Civic competence of the
and civic
population.
competence. Yes, versus digital competence. Does digital competence, for example, imply civic competence? Does civic competence actually imply ability to participate in a dictocratic space? That is something really enriching, and I thank you very much.
There is also an argument that the civic competence of Ugandan population is low. So how does
Yes.
that's why I was trying to interact with the aristocracy and to influence political processes. So can you see that whatever we will be presenting, will it be regarded as concrete evidence of coming out from a specific competent segment of the population? Yeah. It may be too much to determine the percentages of which population is specifically competent and which is not. And it's not about levels of education, no. It's not urban or rural kind of aspects.
Actually, to get back to you, David, on that. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Hello?
I can hear you.
Am I there?
Yeah, you
yes,
are there.
To get back to you for that, I was on a TV show last night, and a major theme emerged that within the Ugandan electoral space, that the presence of civic education does not necessarily imply high voter education. And that there's a difference between civic education and voter education.
True. So, voter education is a subcomponent of civic education.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you for enriching me. I'm going to get it better.
Any more comments, questions from the audience? Dr. Badia?
I think I'm through with my comments, but I'm very happy that this topic has come up. And I think if it is done well, it will give us a lot of insights into the role of the new types of media as against the old ones. But maybe the question could also be, since some of the people are still using traditional media, particularly radios and newspapers, as a footnote or as a comment, would one say that these are now irrelevant, actually?
So you should maybe examine the extent of the irrelevance as we move towards 2036.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Whether you don't need to focus on the issue, but a comment on it would be useful. I mean, are we seeing the end of the traditional media generally, but also as far as elections are concerned, the traditional media as a tool vis-a-vis the new media?
Okay. Alinitwa hiyo Alinitwe. Can you hear me well? Mr. Nitwe, can you hear me well? Mr. Nitwe.
It seems he's off.
He's still on the spin phone. And I think the network is trying. There is a hiccup. Any more comments or questions from the other members of the audience as we wait for Admitted to get back on board? Arinitwe, how are you doing? What has happened? We are lucky he's been able to go through his long presentation. For now. Arinitwe, are you with us again? Mm. Yeah? Yeah, it's as if he's talking, but we can't hear him. Hello? Gire, do you have any question or comment for Arinitwe as we wait for him to get back?
What do you want? I'll take something.
Sorry?
Hmm?
Gire,
Yes, yeah. 1,000.
can you, do you have any comment or question for Arinitwe as we wait for him to get on board? You can type it.
Well, do you have some man and no, I want people here. Musinguzi.
Hey, that's good.
Is he going? Okay, and maybe Kevin.
Maybe Kevin and Babaland. So make it for
Mr. Bwire. Mr. Bwire. Mr. Bwire, can you hear me?
What is
Hey, we don't move back. I'm like,
Mr. Bwire, can you hear me well?
Come on.
Hey.
I think Mr. Bwire does not hear you.
Habib, can you throw in something?
Yes, I hear you.
Can you throw in a comment to Arinitwe again? I hope you've been
I
following.
had a comment. I had a comment for Bwire instead, but my network was disorganizing.
You can forward it as well, if you can type it on our.
Oh, I type it, eh?
Yes, or you can say it.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Bwire, are you with us? Are you still with us? You type it and you say it, and you can also type it as well, so that we are able to.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. In the title, Mr. Bwire says the NRM way. I was wondering if the way NRM wins elections in Uganda cannot be compared with any other election systems or election winnings or strategies of winning elections around the world. And if that happens, then I would think in his writing he has to be very clear about that. More especially in the figure out the NRM way. It gives a different explanation, which is a little bit particular. And that was one thing. Then the second thing was in the presentation, he starts from 1996, which was okay, fine. But my concern was that would that be the first time Uganda was organizing general elections? That's one. Two, was there any other political system in Uganda that has ever won elections the NRM way? And then the third was whether these rebel groups that emerged can be corroborated with the elections organized, because the LRA earlier than the 1996 elections, and he mentioned the LRA violences relating them to the election outcomes of 1996. Yet by 1996, LRA had already started those avocs some 5 years before. So those were the two concerns. Unfortunately, back to you.
Mr. Bwire, I hope you are taking note of the comments raised by Habib. Bwire, Mr. Bwire, Harinit, are you back? I'm
Yes,
sorry,
I am
that
back.
was-
Yes, I am back.
Oh, all right. So
I got
you were
lost
still,
somewhere.
mm,
I'm using a different gadget now. I got lost from where Dr. Baria was giving some additional comments, but
then
maybe
maybe you could kind of request him to. Dr.
but I
Badia,
understand you.
are you in position to kind of repeat the last comments you were putting across to Admiral General? He got a challenge, technical challenge, and had
Yes,
to take
yes,
it. Yes, thank you very much.
yes, I can repeat it. Can you hear
Yes.
me?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
Yes, I
can.
was saying that you are focusing on the new media, digital media, etc. But would you have a comment, not necessarily doing an analysis, on traditional media which is still being used, particularly the radios and the newspapers, or would you be able to say that in light of the new media, the traditional media is no longer relevant, and particularly in the context of elections?
You want me to respond to that?
Please
No,
go
you
ahead.
don't have to.
I think
It's
yes.
part of the
I will,
research.
I will
Yes.
wish to.
Yes.
You may respond and take note. Take note and
No,
then
no, no.
you can
I'm taking
respond.
notes. Yes, yes.
Just take note.
I'm still. I'm lost. I'm lost again. I'm lost there a little bit. You're saying that the study would render traditional media irrelevant to a dictocracy.
No. That
yes.
no. That would you be able to comment on the relevance of traditional media, particularly newspapers and radios? You don't need to focus on the study, but have some comment vis-a-vis the new media.
Yes. I agree. Yes, thank you.
Then can we have Habib? Habib, do you have a question to Arini or comment?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
My close friend.
Yes, sir.
You will have an opportunity to make an assessment or comparative analysis between how digitalization of elections or political activities in rural areas can be compared with the urban areas. And if that is the case, which digitalization of media, for instance, just the way Dr. John has put it, it's likely that the media and the digital media that is used in rural areas could possibly be different, and it could be possible that in rural areas people rely much on the traditional media compared to the other vices of media that we use in our age. Back to you.
Yes, thank you. In other words, if there is also how is the emergent dictocracy panning out in a rural context, if anything, where traditional media is prevalent. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, my president.
Bwire, do you have any comment or question?
Thank you.
Bwire, any more comments, questions to the presenters?
I missed the previous presenters, so I don't have.
Maybe he can share. I don't know that he's still on. Because he seems to be.
But I think sometimes the center says YouTube, so you could get from the YouTube at 9:12.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. I think we could request him to share his presentation with you.
Oh, yes.
Though you may not be able to comment right now.
Yes, listening.
Bwire. Thank you, Bwire. I think we've come to the tail end of our presentations, and I would like to thank.
Maybe I have a small question for Dr. Barije, for Dr. Baria.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Yes.
Dr. Baria, your first comment has actually hit me hard, of course, in a positive way. I want to think. I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
How do you see this study using a case of, say, one of the platforms, say maybe going a case study way or something? I don't know.
No, I think a case study would not help because we want to have an overall picture. I think it's maybe a question of sampling. Maybe you can even get time and we meet and talk about it.
Yes, yes.
But
yes, sir.
A mere case study in this situation, yes, it may illuminate some points, but it will not be sufficiently representative.
Okay. Okay, I get your point. I think I will meet you on the question of sampling. I think this is where the real deal is.
Yes.
Yes,
So I think you may have my contacts. If you don't have CBR,
yes, I
all
do.
my contacts.
No, I've had your contact for 23 years.
They have changed, and some are more modern than the old.
Oh yes.
So you better get modern ones, the latest contacts.
Because because I'm using a phone, I can't see. Maybe you can read it for me.
No, actually,
the digital one.
The one you have is the one you have is not on WhatsApp.
Yes, that's the MTN one, I know.
So let me read for you the Airtel one, which is more modern.
Yes, sir.
Yes, 0705.
Yes.
69.
8485. 8485. Thank you.
Yeah.
All
Thank you.
Welcome, sir. I'll pick you up.
Bwire, are you on? Bwire seems to be lost. I think it's high time we come to the end of this review session. And I would like to, on behalf of the Center for Basic Research, I would like to thank the presenters and those who have managed to attend this meeting who are not been presenting. The comments were highly valuable. I hope the presenters are happy with the comments and the questions they've received from the audience. So we meet next time. Have a nice evening. Thursday next week. We shall communicate with us and when to meet again. Thank you very much, and I wish you once again a nice evening.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, everyone. Comrades, for the comments.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you.
Of course. And they don't start. That's what I'm